Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my sister. So you've written into us about a difficulty that you're facing with your husband. You previously had an abortion due to the financial reasons, not being able to raise a child, which caused some difficulties between you and your husband, which ultimately led you to have the abortion. And now you're considering having more children, but your husband doesn't want to, and you'd really like to know what to do in this situation. Now, going back to when it was that you were having the abortion, the way he treated you here was not fair, because the way he did this was to bribe you, that if you didn't get it, that he would go and basically report you to his and your family. And obviously, if they follow some kind of cultural traditions, then this was going to mean bad things for you and terrible consequences for you. So of course you went ahead feeling like by force you had to go ahead with the abortion. And this is not fair. This is almost a form of emotional abuse, really, because you're forced to do something that you didn't want to do, and now you want to have more children. And again, your husband is saying that for financial reasons, he doesn't want to go ahead with another pregnancy. Now, from the Islamic perspective, we know that Allah is the provider, and to say that you can't financially provide for your child is not the best excuse or the best reason to be giving to either seek an abortion or to not have a child. So, what I would suggest is that you do turn to Allah for forgiveness. I know you feel like you're almost forced into it in this scenario. But do take the matter to Allah, ask Him to forgive you, and inshallah He'll forgive you and lead you to better things. So when you'll turn to Allah, you'll seek forgiveness, but make sure that you do all you can to avoid being in this situation again where you feel that you have to go for the abortion due to financial reasons, because it's not really acceptable, because it's not really the best reason to be giving for an abortion. But anyway, what's done is done, and you can't go back and change that. But what you can do is make sure that you approach the situation now in the most appropriate way so that you don't end up in the same situation again. Now, of course, whilst your husband has rights over you, you also have rights over him as well. So he doesn't want to have children, but you want to have children, and you have a right as well. And in Islam, we're encouraged to have children as well. So I would suggest, regarding your question about whether it's okay to use contraception or not, do make sure to seek scholarly advice on this. Seek scholarly advice on whether it's okay to be using contraception or not, and also whether it would be okay to not use it against the wishes of your husband. But also understand as well that contraception is not 100% effective as well. So if Allah wills, you'll get pregnant anyway, even if you're using the contraception. But obviously, ultimately, you could go ahead and not use contraception against the wishes of your husband, but then you're kind of breaching your husband's trust as well. So you need to really consider the consequences of this. But do seek scholarly advice on whether it's okay to use the contraception and whether it's okay to not use it against the wishes of your husband, because of course you have rights as well to have children, but he also has his rights as well. So do make sure to seek advice about this. And obviously, if you were to go ahead and not be using it and you'd fall pregnant, it's a breach of trust towards him. But at the same time, maybe you would have a child and he would come to accept it and actually be grateful and, raise the child. So these are things for you to consider. Do consider, if you do go ahead and not use or use the contraception, there will be consequences for both you, for him, and for the two of you as well, whether you choose to use it, whether you don't. But really, the best way forward with this is to make it a matter that you talk about together, because if you talk about it together, then you could come to some kind of agreement together. Everything's out in the open. He would know how you feel, you would know how he feels, and you kind of really put everything out on the table. Maybe in this situation, one of the best things that you can do is come to some kind of compromise. So maybe it is that you give him his way by saying, let's wait another 6 months or so. So he gets his way in that he gets that 6 months to be keeping some money aside, to be more financially stable, or to have everything that you need to bring another child into this world, but then you get your side, you get your way as well, because you get to have a child as well. So really coming up with some kind of compromise, and you can only do this by talking to him. And then the other thing you might want to do, maybe if you are reluctant to have this talk with him, knowing his feelings on the situation, or you don't feel really comfortable to, maybe you could bring a family member with you who would be able to advocate for your side as well, and really help him to understand the situation from your point of view. Or even if it is that you could bring in some kind of a person of knowledge, a local leader in your community, who could really help him to understand the blessings of having more children, and how just give him this understanding that the fact that you're not feeling financially stable right now is not necessarily the best reason to say that you don't want any more children, because you may never be in a situation where you feel like you're financially stable, but we know that with children come extra blessings, come these financial blessings as well. So to really bring in somebody, a person of knowledge, a local leader or something, to support you in putting your opinions across. This might be very helpful to you in putting the idea forward to him about trying for another child. So may Allah make things easy for you. May He grant you with more righteous, pious children to be by your side. May He make them the coolness of your eyes. May He make your husband the coolness of your eyes, and may He help you to work through this difficulty together to form a solution that will be good for the both of you.